Well, hello. Welcome to this show that I like to call Gabbin+Games. My name is Dr. Sean Murphy. What's up? Welcome to Gabbin+Games for, the 14th of December. Good to see everybody. That was Here's to Us by, is it Hellstrom sings that song? Yeah, Hellstrom. We usually like to open the show with good Sir Alex Plox, but every now and then we mix things up. And Alex, I see Alex is there in the chat. If you want some good music this Christmas season, not Christmas music, but just good music, check out Alex's channel. It is in the link tree below. It is Good People. Alex, if you ever want to write some Christmas music, you know I'll play it, baby. You know I'll play that shit. Some synthy 80s Christmas music. I would love it. All right. Alex is like, yeah, sure. Fucking pay me, bitch. I understand. I'm just throwing it out there. John says, I heard Dr. Sean Murphy's a pretty good doctor. He's a good doctor, not a great doctor. Fellas, welcome to the show. I appreciate you being here. Let's open with a couple of really quick. I hate housekeeping. I hate the term housekeeping. I hate doing it in real life, and I hate the term that people who do podcasts and stuff use. But it's kind of the term that's kind of taken hold. So here we go. Here's what's going on. Let me give you a quick update. This Monday, 6 p.m., there will be no Gabbin+Games probably because the Gabbin+Games community will be going head-to-head with Colin Moriarty's Last Stand Media community in a Call of Duty winner-take-all. We will fuck them up badly. So that's coming up. I think we have our group. I'm not entirely sure yet. Hit me up on the Discord if you're a member and you are interested in being one of our last members that we got to slot in. POT+POPCORN's coming up this weekend for members only. Christmas Bloody Christmas, about a department store robotic animatronic Santa Claus that goes crazy and kills people. That's pretty much all you need to know. We're probably not going to watch Barbarian. We're going to watch something else as well. Double fucking feature. There you go. Now, let me tell you, what's happening before we get into video games. I just want to tell you, these are two news stories I had to mention because they're kind of peripherally orbiting around the geek sphere. So I want to talk about them very, very briefly, unless you guys want to talk about them more than that. But you have to have seen this, and if not, shame on you. Let me tell you something. This is a year, like a 12-month year. I don't mean like January to January. Just the last 12 months has been so exciting for science. And I imagine what's going to happen is there will be these moments we look back on that a lot of people, because of the media and they're busy and COVID and all that shit, they didn't really get how impactful this year was. The first one was when a bunch of fucking Poindexters and four-eyed geeks over at, I guess it was NASA, literally was able to slam a rocket into an asteroid and knock it. I think we still have to wait to see a few months to see if it's gotten knocked off its orbit enough. That is the first step in saving, assuming we want to, our species. Those guys should be fucking, and girls should be fucking, on every cover of every magazine for the next year, because that's amazing. But today or yesterday, this is a baby step. Scientists, you have to have heard this, achieved a breakthrough in nuclear fusion, right? So basically what it means is, because that's how I understand it, but my understanding of it is they were able to create a reaction that gave off more energy than it took to initiate the reaction. And that bodes well, assuming we can get decades and billions of dollars together of moving this ball down the field for infinite energy, all clean energy, which means we'll probably clear up a lot of the Middle East fucking shit, because that's all about money for the most part. Not all of it, but a lot of it in terms of oil and whatnot. What's amazing to me, and I don't mean to sound like a fucking old fuck, but it is amazing to me where all of the press goes. People are talking about Kanye West. People are talking about Elon Musk. People are talking about Joe Biden, whatever. It's not a political thing for me. And these motherfuckers are head down doing the work and literally potentially saving the fucking species. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, which is just as important, Henry Cavill tweets out today. He says, hey, I just had a meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran. They're the new execs over there running the DC universe at Warner Brothers. He says, I will, after all, not be returning as Superman. He's disappointed. He says, yes, let's all mourn for a little bit. Let's be sad. Superman is still out there. It is a character. He's a character that will continue to inspire. He hasn't gone anywhere, but my time wearing the cape, he says, is over. It's been a fun ride with you all, he concludes, onwards and upwards. Look, I Henry Cavill, what do you want? I mean, I never liked Henry Cavill at first as Superman. So I'm not like, oh, fuck, right? But in the time that Henry Cavill played Superman, he also played The Witcher, Geralt, whatever. And I thought he did a wonderful job there. And I saw him in roles, that and a couple others I'm forgetting, where I'm like, hey, this guy can actually be warm and he can be optimistic and hopeful. And that made sense that he would be Superman. So I was excited, especially if it wasn't going to be Zack Snyder's Superman or who's the other guy? Christopher Nolan's Superman. But it was still going to be the actor. But apparently that's not... apparently that's not in the cards. So we'll see what happens. I have faith in James Gunn to do it right. I do hope it doesn't. I'm sure it's not going to be all crazy, wacky crap. It's like all of his stuff has been so far. Hopefully he'll, and I'm sure he will. I don't think he's going to go off and make Superman goofy and shit. But anyway, there's the news on that. The other thing that's really kind of telling is I imagine he quit The Witcher, and that role now has gone to Chris Hemsworth's brother, I think. And he probably quit it because he thought, hey, I'm going to be Superman. Well, who knows what? Maybe he'll be a co-host on Gabbin+Games at this point. We'll see what happens. Okay, let's get to actual video games, shall we? As a reminder, if you want to chat, send me a real chat, a super chat, call in on the Discord. Oh, I do want to let you know, midway through the show, we will be pulling up the paywall. If you're watching live, you can keep watching whether you're a member or not. After the fact, it'll be for members only. We will be discussing afterwards. I was so grateful for this, by the way, because all of us are just talking about the Microsoft Xbox acquisition, Activision acquisition, and none of us really fucking know. And a couple of journalists went out and spoke to a couple of lawyers, FTC experts, blah, blah, blah. And they have these guys on the record saying what they think is going to happen now that the FTC has stepped in and filed a complaint against that very acquisition. So we'll be talking about that along with a couple of other things after the paywall goes up about halfway through the show. Okay. What have I been playing? I hear you ask. Silly. Well, today, Modern Warfare, which I've been obsessed with, multiplayer, dropped their season 1, I guess it is, or some update. I assume season 1 was launch day, but it's a season 1 update. What's it called? Warzone 2.0 has a new building in it. I played the soccer game. They have like a Rocket League game with Call of Duty soldiers on ATVs and like pulse recharge attacks that push the ball. And I played it once, and I don't think I'll ever go back and play it again. I'm not interested. It wasn't very fun. There is a raid that I'm hoping to do maybe even tonight if I'm up for it and they're up for it with some of the Gabbin+Games folks, which sounds very, very cool. It's 3-player puzzles, story, narrative. It's not just shoot. It actually is an extension of the campaign. And then I got a new map today. I'm new to Call of Duty multiplayer, so I didn't know this map. But I got to tell you something. I played it today. This is the map from top down. It is teeny fucking tiny. It's called Shipment. I guess it came out in the first Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Then they brought it back a couple years ago. Well, now it's back again. And let me just fucking tell you, this thing, if you're looking at it, these are basically crates on a ship. So this should have probably better been called Meat Grinder, right? Because this level is so small that I played it today. I usually come away with 7 to 12 kills. I had like 35 kills today in this map, but everyone else had like 80. It is just death and blood everywhere. And I think it's fun. I wouldn't want to play it a lot, but I would not mind playing it as a palate cleanser. Yeah, no, I know. I said it was on Call of Duty Modern Warfare Call of Duty 4. So they've remastered it twice already. This is the third time people are seeing it. I've never played it, and I can tell you I don't like it other than just a fun novelty. I don't know how anybody could play this and really dig it unless the only reason they're in there for is to just get XP because you're just killing people left and right and then you die. So anyway, I've been playing that. Played a little bit more. Yeah, Eddie Cardwell says, I love the devs have the balls to keep a map in rotation that's the size of my bedroom. Yeah, it's true. It's very, very tiny. Dark says this is a leveling up gun map. I can see that. And then I've also played a little bit more High on Life. I said this yesterday. I haven't yet gotten to the point where I've been able to upgrade my weapons or get new guns or whatever. So it's starting to wear a little bit thin in terms of just variety of mechanics. But I'm not one of the guys turned off by the humor. I think it is a very funny game. I'm laughing out loud literally numerous times so far playing this title. So I recommend it, especially as a Game Pass title. I don't know what they're selling it for at retail or if you buy it digitally on the Xbox store, but it is really funny if you like that kind of humor. And it's actually, I think the Metacritic is right on this game. The Metacritic on the PC side is 73. And this very much feels like a 7 out of 10 game to me in a good way, in a real 7, meaning it's absolutely above average. It's worth your time if you like shooters. There's nothing brilliant about all of it, but it's good. The Xbox Metacritic that a lot of people are citing, it's like, it's a 51 Metacritic. There's only 4 reviews on the Xbox, and my understanding is that is almost, if not entirely, related to the fact that the Xbox shipped when these reviews went up with a terrible bug where stuttering made it almost non-playable. That has since been fixed, and so I hope that it'll get a fair shot on the hardware, because a lot of people are using that 51 as a club to slam it over the head and say it's another piece of shit game on Xbox. It's like, no. This is a very interesting, unique, fresh title, whether it's on Xbox or PC or PS4, doesn't matter. So I dig it. Dano says, did you ever review Evil West? No, not yet. I have not, but I will. Okay. Let me pause this. It's not my gameplay. And let us move on. Hey, God of War. Hey, God of War. God of War has been announced. We already knew it was coming to Amazon. We already knew they were doing a TV series, but we got some more details today. Whatever they have seen, the Amazon executives like what they've seen. And they says, hey, here's the ducats. Here's the commitment. We want you guys to make a series. It's called ordering to series. So it's not like shoot a pilot, then we'll let you know. They're like, fuck it, let's just go. It's a full-on series. So that was announced today, and there's some details. I do want to get back to Avoid the Void real quick. I'll get right back to God of War in a second. Avoid the Void says Call of Duty is all about luck. I used to think that. I used to think Call of Duty was all about who saw each other first, and I hated it. And I don't have enough knowledge of the multiplayer in Call of Duty to know, to meaningfully discuss and talk about educated-wise what has changed. but I can tell you that this game, and it may all just be me, I have no idea, but this game doesn't feel like that to me. It's still a meat grinder for me. I'm not very good at it, but it feels like I can actually recover. I made a whole video on it actually about what I think it is, why this version has really clicked with me. So, okay. Well, it can't be as, going back to God of War on Amazon, it can't be as bad as the Lord of the Rings game they have, show they have. I heard that was a good show. I heard that was a good show. I haven't seen it, but I heard it was pretty good. Me and my friend, oh, okay, you had a 6-game win streak. Okay. Amazon Prime has transphobic shows. Why would you think it's woke? What are its, you mean, is that show called with Jeffrey Tambor? I haven't seen it though. The series that's been amazing on Amazon is The Boys. Yeah, I hear it's great. But anyway, here's what they say. It's going to be based on the 2018 God of War. My understanding is people, I don't know where I'm reading this from Variety. I'll just read you this paragraph from Variety. Based on the massively popular 2018 video game, the show follows, what's his name? Kratos? I don't know how to say it. Kratos, the God of War, who after exiling himself from his blood-soaked past in ancient Greece, which I hear is all going to be told just in flashbacks, hangs up his weapons forever in the Norse realm of Midgard per Amazon's description. When his beloved wife dies, Kratos sets off on a journey to the underworld to bring her back. Oh, no, sorry. That's what he should have done. Kratos sets off on a dangerous journey with his estranged son Atreus to spread her ashes from the highest peak, his wife's final wish. Kratos soon realizes the journey is an epic quest in disguise, one which will test the bonds between father and son and force Kratos to battle new gods and monsters for the fate of the world. The guys who wrote Iron Man and Children of Men are writing it and executive producing it. A bunch of the Santa Monica people that I know and the PlayStation Productions people that I know are also getting executive producer credits. I don't know, executive producer credit's one of those things where sometimes it's a vanity credit and sometimes it actually means you're doing some meaningful work. It's hard to say at this point. But yeah, I don't know when it's coming out, but now we've got God of War. And now we've got, now we've got Twisted Metal coming. So, I tell you what, I told somebody today, I said, in an alternate universe, I'm living in a massive mansion and driving the General Lee, one of the original General Lees from the Dukes of Hazzard, but there's an American flag on the top. You think Guillermo del Toro, any other directors may get more involved in gaming? It's an interesting question. Hang on, let me get back to that because it's kind of a branch question. Let's talk a little bit about God of War first. But I'll put that on the screen so I'll remember to get back to it. Let me see what you guys are saying. Well, I will tell you on Amazon Prime, The Peripheral is a fucking great show. I'm loving that. I hear Man in the High Castle is a great fucking show, but I haven't seen that one. Any video game, movie, or show always fails, says Twisted Sith. That's not really the case anymore. Detective Pikachu was a big hit. The Sonic movies have been a big hit. The second one doing more than the first one. Uncharted was a hit. So I don't know if that's the narrative anymore. And the Last of Us TV show looks great. And there was a critic who kind of broke embargo. We talked about her yesterday and she took her tweet down, but her initial response to seeing, I don't know how many episodes she saw, was great. She was like, in 5 minutes, I was totally bought in. It was awesome. So I don't know if that kind of trope of game, movies, and shows are always terrible is gonna be able to maintain its trope status for too much longer. I wish, says Kenneth, they went with the original God of War game. I don't know. It says Mr. K, is Jaffe cock-hurt because they went with Norse Kratos? Bring on the criticism. He's going to be bashing the show for years. I'm not bashing the show. I haven't seen it. Here's what I will tell you. I did not like The Last of Us Part 1, the game, but I thought the trailer for the show looks awesome. Like it looks genuinely like, I'm like, oh, I would watch that show. Right. So the same may apply to God of War. What I can tell you though, is I played God of War 2018. I really enjoyed it. One of my favorite games of that year. And I understand why maybe they would say, let's make that. because that's less pulpy and it's more long form storytelling. And we have more characters that, we have Atreus and we have Freya and we have the new quote love interest, whatever. I haven't finished Ragnarok. And there's more shit that we can do with it. And also it is based off where the series is right now. It would be like making Super Mario, the Mario movie with Chris Pratt. And it's like, let's go back to when they were just plumbers running around in the sewers. And it's like, well, because that was the first Mario game. So no, I'm absolutely not bashing it. I can tell you I'm not all that interested in it, but I was also not all that interested in the Last of Us TV show until I saw the trailer. But I just, I don't like dark TV shows. I don't like what a lot of people think of as prestige TV. I think it's ego stroking bullshit. I love television and I love long form series, but I watch a lot of it, but I don't get into a lot of those shows like that. I like stuff. I like stuff like The West Wing and The Good Doctor. I'm loving Wednesday on Netflix. I don't want something that depresses me. I don't want something that feels like the burden of humanity is just draped around me like a cloak every time I tune into this. And that's what I get the sense. It's going to be that. But I thought Last of Us was too. And it actually had, the trailer has a lot of levity to it, which I'm like, oh, I'm excited. So we'll see. Yeah. Stoner Face says, so it's basically God of War 2018, just a little less interactive. Yeah. It's not that I like basic shows. It's that the world is already too dark. I know that some of the world's darkness. I get it. I don't get it as much as somebody living in Ukraine right now, but I get it. I don't want to tune in every fucking night to a show where I just feel like, oh, it's so like for example, I watched the first 3 episodes of Handmaid's Tale and I loved it. I thought it was great. I stopped watching it after 3 though, because it was so fucking depressing. And so dark that I'm like, okay, I respect it, but I don't want to be in this world, all that much, longer is what I would say. Okay. Anyway, God of War, we'll see when it comes out. I don't know if they've announced when it's coming out yet. I don't think so. Listen to this now. Listen to this, now. This is interesting. Jaffe, the Phil Jester, thank you for the super chat, buddy. He says, why did High on Life, I already explained this. Why did High on Life get a 59 Metacritic? It's a good game. My understanding is if you actually look,
fighting, you're an up and coming boxer.
And thank you for that, super chat, buddy. My understanding is the, Xbox reviews of it, there are only 4 of them, took into account the bad performance, which has been fixed with a day 1 patch. If you look at the reviews on PC, it's sitting at a 73, which did not have that issue. And I think that explains quite a bit, because I think a 73 is right for this game. Is it perfect? No. Does it get a little dull and repetitive? Yes. But there's a lot to love about it. And so I think that's kind of what is going on with that review. I'm surprised there aren't many people who have reviewed it yet in the media, but there we are. August says, Jaffe, have you played the new Modern War 2 update yet? I played a little bit. I played the new map in Modern Warfare 2. I played Warzone. I have not played the new raid mode yet. I might get to it tonight. Okay, listen to this. I'm going to play you an audio clip for a second. I want to address Dano Genesis thing, just real quick, because it relates to Rick and Morty, and it relates to High on Life, and it relates to bizarrely to Wednesday. But let me explain this. So he says, do you think Guillermo del Toro or any other directors may get more involved in gaming? I mean, I would say yes, that's already happening. Like, with High on Life, and that's already happening. I'm trying to think of probably which director was the most involved. So in the past, mostly what that's been has been a director, like even Steven Spielberg. I know some people who worked with him on that LMNO, artificial intelligence buddy game that was canceled at EA. And he had an office there. He came in, he was engaged, but he was also, off in the world being Steven Spielberg. That's how it was for a while. It was almost like a consultant and a PR job, right? But I think that is changing. Both, and the reason I bring up Tim Burton and Wednesday, because he directed all the Wednesdays, both in terms of television and like if you look at High on Life, let me just say this. I played High on Life, and I'm about 4 hours into it. And as I said, I'm literally laughing out loud when I'm playing this game. Every couple of minutes, I will laugh, like literally laugh, not just like, that's kind of funny, right? That's the difference. Now, again, you may not like that guy's humor, and that's fine. But usually when games try to be funny, it's like, it's okay. You get a little zinger in there, here or there, but it doesn't compete. It feels like there's always this feeling that the writers in games wish they could write as well as the people in Hollywood. Not all of them. Some of them might be able to, but most of them can't, which is why they're in games. Most of them, not all. Some of them go into games because they genuinely believe in bringing great narrative in a unique way to the art form of interactivity. That I respect, that I love. A lot of them go into it because, hey, it's a job, and I couldn't get into the writer's room for, whatever, Breaking Bad, or let's call Saul, or whatever the fuck, right? So, but when you start to see Tim Burton come on and take over a TV series, not just like, oh, he created it and directed the first episode. He came on, he directed the entire first season, and it is great. High on Life, whoever, I forget that guy's name, he comes on and he's like, look, it's clear he actually showed up, right? It's not just like, yeah, come give it your blessing and do some PR. He wrote the dialogue, he did the voices, and then even if you explore the world, there's a lot of visual humor, and there's a lot of, interesting referential humor that is just purely visual. Right? There is clearly a mind at work behind High on Life that has talent for being funny, if you like that kind of humor. So to answer your question, do I think Del Toro or any other directors may get more involved in gaming? I think so. I think either they get involved with smaller teams because they don't take up so much of their time, or they just get a fucking sweetheart deal and they commit to genuinely being engaged for the 2.5, 3 years they're going to need them. That's always been the sticky widget. And that's why I always say, you can tell me that you think that these are great writers in games and they're just as good as movies and TV. No, they're not. No, they're not. Some of them might be, right? It may be that the episode of The Last of Us TV series that Neil Druckmann directed, he may be a genuine, outside of games, great director. Corey might be. I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm saying they're rare in games. And here's how you know they're rare in games. Because in movies, there are unions and there are agents and there are people that will guarantee that if you make a studio a lot of money, you're going to make a shit ton of money, right? Why in the fuck would you go work in games where you can get replaced, where you have no real power? The audience, such as it is, isn't like a movie audience where they can follow your career unless you're a real hardcore gamer, and you'll get fucking stinking rich. Don't tell me. There are some people who do it just for the art form, but the vast majority of them do it because there's a lot more jobs to get in gaming right now as a writer than there are in the motion picture show. Take it if you will, but there's the truth. Jaffe the Phil Jester, thank you for the super chat. He says, did you play both South Park games? They're hilarious. I didn't play both. I played the last one, and I don't disagree. I thought that game was really fucking funny as well. And I am, again, you had two pros from that industry that are professional comedians writing the goddamn thing. So anyway, that's my answer to you, Dano Genesis, but I have been thinking about it as I've been experiencing more media where the direction is coming from people who aren't as often engaged in that kind of media. Like, I can't think of the last time a movie director of such esteem as Tim Burton directed not just a TV episode, but directed every episode of a season. So it really is just like a very long singular vision, and it's fucking great. It's fucking great. At least I think it is. Okay, let's move on, shall we? Oh, okay. I want to tell you about this. Starfield put out a video today, and it's weird. It's unlisted, so I don't know. I don't know why this video is unlisted. I don't know if it's like you have to be subscribed to the Starfield channel. I don't fucking know. Anyway, it came out today. And the headline caught my eye. JW, I don't know if that's true. Everyone I don't know if that's true. Are you sure? JW says he only directed 4. You may be right. I want to check right now because everyone I've watched, and I think I've watched 5, say directed by Tim Burton. Hang on. Let's find out together, shall we? Internet Movie Database, Wednesday. Yeah, you're right. James Gunn also wrote some on Lollipop Chainsaw as well. You're absolutely right. Which I still haven't played. I'm hoping the rumor of its upgrade, I think it's not even a rumor anymore, is real. Or of a re-release, whatever. Okay. Let's go to season 1. Let's go to episode, what is this, 6, 7, whatever. It was directed by, yep, you're right. James Marshall directed that one. So maybe he did only direct the first 4. But the ones I've seen so far, let me tell you which ones I've seen. I've seen 1, 2, 3, 4. You're exactly right. I am on You Reap What You Woe, which is the 5th episode, and I haven't watched that yet. And it was directed by someone called Ganja Monterio, who I guess has also made nothing any of us have ever heard of. So, maybe it goes downhill. But I will tell you that the first 4 episodes are fucking awesome. Awesome. Okay. So Starfield puts out this video today, and the headline over on Games Radar is this. Starfield's random encounters include entire procedural mini quests. Now, I'm interested in this because anybody who watches the stream knows that I care very much about procedurally generated video games because I know that is absolutely the future of this medium. And I'm going to show you some crazy shit in a minute that indie developers are going to lose their shit on when this gets really more prominent. But I believe for so many good reasons, this is the way the industry is going to go. And so I clicked on it. Let me play you the clip of him talking about it, and then we'll come back on the other side and we'll discuss as pals do. Here we go.
First question. One of the best things about the previous games were random encounters that you have in the world. For Starfield, how has the random encounter system been improved or expanded upon, if at all?
So very exciting. This time around, we have entire planets that we have to populate. So we actually have new tech to take whole locations that we've built and put them on the planets. Now you could say maybe you're going to an outpost and you actually discover there's a whole group of people there with a particular problem. Whereas, before it might be just a person coming to you along the road. Now it's an actual whole location that can be put there. And maybe they have a problem like one of our members was kidnapped. They've been kidnapped by some pirates. And we think they're over there. We actually are replacing a whole other location with that person in it and enemies around it. So it's a dynamically placed settlement that is taking you to a dynamically placed dungeon as you're walking through the planet.
So basically, at any point in time on a planet, you can just experience a random encounter anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we're really only just scratching the surface of what that tech can do.
We can see what looks like Earth's own solar system in the Starfield gameplay trailer. Will there be quests taking us back there and exploring how things have changed?
Yeah, actually, very early on in the main quest, we take you to our solar system, which in our lore is called the Old Neighborhood. Nice. And you'll be being sent there on a mission from Constellation to discover the mysteries of the artifacts. And you'll get in contact with the question of what happened to Earth, but also you'll go to Mars, and there's actually a settlement, one of the early settlements that humanity created after they left Earth. It's called Sidonia, and
okay, so you get the point, right? And I can already look. I don't even understand why you the people who hate on Starfield. I get it. You have been disappointed. I don't have that relationship with this developer. I know they release buggy products, but I will take buggy but ambitious any fucking day of the week. And it'll eventually get fixed, and it is something that I'm excited about. I'm excited about the theme. I'm excited about the artifacts and the big questions they claim that they're going to address in terms of humanity and aliens and why are we here. And I will agree. I put up CR's comment. He says, I don't know roguelike games for that. He doesn't like roguelike games for that reason. It's painfully obvious when the level was procedural. I absolutely agree with you from a standpoint of if that is the whole game, although in some cases like Hades, it doesn't matter because sort of the meta and the rogue-like aspect is so compelling. It supersedes the fact that the levels are almost irrelevant, right? My understanding is this game is filled with handcrafted scenarios.
Great fighting! You're an up-and-coming boxer.
But what I like about this, like if you did play Skyrim, and I didn't play for that long because I was kind of bored of it. But what I played, though, my understanding is there were the handcrafted scenarios, which I encountered. And then the way they did procedurally generated encounters was just like, oh, we'll place enemies in certain places and you never know what is going to be around the next corner. So it feels like your adventure is a little different. The fact that they're expanding that now and saying we're still doing that, but now we're actually putting a bit more narrative on top of it. And we're procedurally building locations on planets where these procedurally designed story elements can exist. It's not just like you turn a corner, oh no, and it's an alien. Okay, that's a random encounter. It's a bit more in depth. And I'm not saying it's going to work, right? I was excited by this. This was back in the late 90s. It was called Star Wars Yoda Stories. They did another one. Oh, you can't see it. They did another one with what's it called? With Indiana Jones. And it was basically procedural. It was like every adventure you went on, it was like a different quest, different weapons, this, that, and the other. And it wasn't good. I'm not suggesting that it was a great game. I'm saying that this is a nut people have been trying to crack for a very long time. It will get better, especially with AI. But I love the fact that Starfield is going to be able to sort of, they're trying these kind of big fucking things. I think that's exciting, especially if it works. But yeah, I don't. So let me get these super chats real quick. But they're all kind of forming a pattern. Phil the Jester says, "I can't get excited for this game, Jaffe. It just feels wrong." I think I had the video up when we were talking. If not,
that's a whole city.
I'll turn him down. But I think he was on the screen, right? Hang on. Because there's a little gameplay. But this thing like Twisted Sith saying, and thank you for the super chat, Phil. Twisted Sith saying they're literally con men. No, they're not. That's just dumb, Twisted Sith. I love you, but that's just dumb. These guys have made some beloved games. And yes, they've released some buggy games. They've made some promises, but it's not like they're vaporware. If they were, they wouldn't be in business anymore. People love their Fallout take. People love their Elden Ring, or not Elden Ring, Skyrim, and what is that? What's the series called? The whatever the fucking thing, Elder Scrolls, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. So this idea that they're just liars, well, I just don't see the evidence of that. Phil gives me another super chat, which I appreciate. He says, I don't like the "it will get fixed later" attitude, Jaffe. I don't care if you like it or not. But thank you for the super chat. What I will tell you is this, Phil, Jester, it's not that I like it. It's that this is the reality of business, because fans show up and buy it. So the business people are happy, even if it's buggy. It can be too buggy, like CDPR, and then you're fucked, and you got to do a lot of wiggle rooming. But in this case, fans show up and buy it. They make some good money up front. The team gets to stay alive to fix it and improve it. And all the while, the team gets to swing for these fences with really big fucking swings. So can I live with it? Look, I played Marvel Midnight Suns, and that fucking thing has crashed 8 times, and that doesn't have a reputation for being buggy on console. And I'm not. And do I like that it crashed? No. Do I want this game to crash and be buggy? No. But what I'm saying to you is, if you have to trade one for the other, and I think you do, if you're going to be really big and ambitious, not just in production value, but you're going to be really big and ambitious in gameplay, you have to trade that off with a pristine, bug-free experience, I would rather have the ambition. If you don't agree, that's fair. I respect that, but that's the kind of game player I am. Yeah, Dano Genesis says Cyberpunk is a buggy game, but it's also amazing. I agree. Let me see what else the chat is saying, then we'll move on. Only thing I hate more than Bethesda games are those who actually buy Bethesda games. Then get in line, bitch, because you're going to hate me. Because I won't buy this game, so maybe we can still be pals, Zezinish, because it'll be on Game Pass. Just type, I'm not, look, Ahmed says, just type Todd Howard lies on YouTube. Yes, I know. I'm sure but I don't, okay, fine. I'll type it. Let's look at it together for a moment. Todd Howard lies. Okay. And I'm not watching the whole thing. I want to see something really quick. Okay, here's 4 minutes. We'll watch a few seconds about it. Okay. Todd is again. Okay, so everybody thinks Todd's a big fucking fat liar. Fine. Let's watch a couple minutes of this video together, then we'll get back to more news. Here we go. Oh no, now I gotta get sued from the fucking, I can't watch that. It's a fucking Fleetwood Mac song. How about this? I don't know. I'm not gonna search it today. You want to send me some lies at a timestamp, I'll play it. But what I would guess, let me jump ahead of you though, and what I would say is I would guess that they're not lies. He's not standing on stage and lying. He's standing on stage and going, this is the plan, this is the vision. Sometimes it gets executed, sometimes it doesn't. JG from Space says it's a massive space RPG by one of the best devs in the industry. What's not to be excited about? It doesn't have to be the best game ever made. I'm with you on that. Kat Detonia says, I'm happy with the usual Bethesda jank in a space setting. Where'd it go? I'm with you, because anyone who expects something else from these guys is deluded. What I expect in what I'm hearing about, whether you're talking about the conversation system, whether you're talking about procedurally generated stuff, whether what you're talking about, like today, they also talked about letting your companions talk to other NPCs on your behalf. It's not, they're adding steps to the climb up the mountain of systems-based narrative video games. Okay. That's exciting to me, but I'm okay that they iterate on what they've done before. They don't have to create new every time. It's funny. I'm not going to get into names, but the number of fucking games that a lot of you guys defend are the same fucking game you've been playing since PS3 days. The graphics are better. The production value's better, but you're doing a lot of the same shit. That doesn't bother you? Come on now. At least these guys are trying to fucking squeeze something different out of the butthole. But let's see it, Jaffe. All we have is his word. Yeah, I'm not. All we're doing is talking about it. If the fucking game comes out and it's shit, I'll say it's shit. I don't understand what the problem is. Just if you don't like it, don't play it. Or better yet, if you have Game Pass, play it. See if you dig it. If you don't, great, move on. I don't understand what the problem is. Combat Carl says, I'd say Todd gets a little caught up in the hype and ambition and will sometimes stretch what you can actually do, but I chalk it up to excitement. I don't disagree with that. I think a lot of times when you stand on stage 3 years before your game comes out, your game is very different. A, because you haven't built it yet and it's all in your imagination. And B, because you think something's going to be cool and fun, and then you build it and it's terrible, right? I just, but again, if you want to send me some very clear things, like Todd Howard stood on stage I'm not going to click Fleetwood Mac. It's going to demonetize my thing, Mutant Mo. If you can send me a link, though, Mutant Mo, or anybody, where Todd Howard stood on stage and said just blatant lies that were obvious lies. I would like to see that. It's still not going to turn me off of the game because I have nothing to lose from trying it. But I would love to see that. Brandon Myers, thank you for the super chat, buddy. He says, why do people think their subjective opinion is fact? I don't know, man. It's a great, sad question, Brandon Myers. It's just like, I'm not sitting here telling you to get excited for Starfield. I'm telling you based on what I've seen, which is pretty much what you've seen if you've been following it. I'm excited. I think it sounds pretty fucking cool. I want to play it, but it could be terrible. Could be terrible. Jaffe, can I hear you, says Aquastorm, admit Xbox has totally let down all Xbox fans by producing nothing for their consumers to enjoy. That is not accurate at all. What I can tell you is, and I've said this ad nauseum, so I'm not going to get into the weeds with it, but the high level is, I have said for years, Phil Spencer is terrible at producing product development. And unless there's something going on we don't know about, like Matt Booty has pictures of, so I don't know. I think Matt Booty's terrible at it. They both seem like really nice guys, and Phil Spencer, I think the world of in a lot of the other categories. But his ability to run product development or to oversee somebody who's running product development has been a shit show. Does that mean that your comment, Aquastorm, that they've let down all Xbox fans by producing nothing? No, it's dumb. That's stupid. What a dumb comment. No offense, Aquastorm. Game Pass, they produced. Game Pass is awesome. The last Forza is awesome. Halo, even though it has been a shit show post-launch of just anemic development drops, was an awesome multiplayer game and remains an awesome multiplayer game. I haven't played Pentiment. Here it's great. I'm playing High on Life right now and I'm enjoying it. So no, I will not admit that because for me, it's not true. Okay, Mr. K says, so they haven't let down their customers. Why are people dumb? Let me walk you through this bullshit. Let me walk you. I mean, no offense, people, but some of y'all watching this are fucking dumb. You're just dumb, okay? Because here's what Aquastorm said. Listen to this. Jaffe, can I hear you admit that Xbox has totally let down all fans by producing nothing for their consumers to enjoy? That was the comment I was responding to. Mr. K in his wisdom chimes in and says, so they haven't let down their customers in terms of first-party games. Wow, I thought you'd agree with that, Jaffe. I didn't. That's not what he asked. That is not what he said. And I was responding to what he said. Do you have a problem with listening or reading comprehension, Mr. K? You know, I love you, but what the fuck are you talking about? They haven't, I didn't, it's not what he said. I couldn't imagine buying into an Xbox, says Morgan, with their joke of a first-party release since the new generation. Then don't. What do I care? No one cares. We knocked an asteroid out of its orbit, probably. We just created energy output more than what it took to do energy input. There are bigger things to worry about. Don't buy an Xbox. I don't give a shit. God damn. Jaffe literally said they have not let me down. They have not let me down. But that doesn't mean, but again, I'm responding to what he said. I'm not going to say this more than one more time. Has Xbox totally let down all Xbox fans by producing nothing for their consumers to enjoy? They have not let me down as it relates to that statement. No, they have not. But frankly, I don't depend on being lifted up by a fucking video game company either. But still, I understand the question. I wait for the day where I can suck in air with my asshole and fart out something of a greater force, says Darth Nugget. It's coming, baby. It's coming, baby. Combat Carl says, I guess chat thinks Jaffe is Aaron Greenberg. God knows why. God knows why. Aquastorm comes back with, he says, the point I'm making, Jaffe, is people buy into an ecosystem for the exclusives. Microsoft has totally dropped the ball there. Yes, it has. But that's a normal, healthy statement. It's not filled with hyperbolic horseshit. You're simply saying that if you bought into the Xbox and you were expecting a gobful or even a tiny handful of really cool, competitive first-party titles, are you disappointed? And I would say yes. Of course. How could you not be? But that doesn't mean it's shit. It doesn't mean they haven't made anything of value. It doesn't mean some of the stuff that they have brought to the table, like Game Pass, is not exciting. So maybe your homework, Aquastorm, is to start realizing if I actually type what I mean, someone will respond to a question authentically. But if you type something like, don't you agree that Joe Biden is the biggest fucking idiot in the world and he probably can't even wipe his own ass? Or if you go, I think some of Joe Biden's policies are really dangerous to the future of the country, I'm going to respond more respectfully to the second guy. Although the first guy, I'm like, why are you thinking about an old man wiping his ass? That's an interesting thing to think about. Not to me, but to you. Dream Corridor, thank you for the super chat. He says, Microsoft hasn't let you down because you had zero expectations, says Dream Corridor. I mean, you know, I here's what I'll tell you. I have the Xbox Series X. I want to say Bukkake Drive-By hooked me up with it. I mean, I paid for it, but he kind of got me one on the website when they were hard to find, and I appreciate it. Since I've gotten it, I have never regretted having it. I love the X. I love how it integrates with Game Pass. I love the backwards compatibility. I play it all the time. Do I wish that there were a lot more exclusives? Not because they're exclusive, but just because I like original things. I want to see all that money they have being put into things that are really jaw-dropping, not visually necessarily, but just as games. But, you know, Jesus, why do you care? You guys are knuckleheads, man. If you had to get a casual gamer a game for Christmas, says Dano, what would you recommend? Well, what define casual? Are they a cell phone gamer, like a soccer mom, or I don't know. You got to give me a little bit more details. Okay. Eddie T says, I only bought a Series X because it was the Halo Special Edition console. Had it not existed, I still wouldn't have one.
Great fighting.
Cool.
You're an up-and-coming boxer.
Brian, he says, Jaffe, I got a question. Do you think Microsoft should prioritize Series X development over Series S? No, I don't, because Series S is selling great. And I understand the more they keep S around, the less the games are going to look bleeding edge. Here's what I would advise a lot of people who have a problem. And I've said this before, but it bears repeating. The people out there, like the people out there that are expecting consoles to be at the bleeding edge of visual production value are just setting themselves up for disappointment. Okay? I've said this before. You don't own a Ferrari. You own a Toyota. Okay? It's not a Corolla. It's like what's their mid-level car? Is it Infiniti or Honda's mid-level car or whatever? It's a nice car. It's decent. It gets the job done. It gets you where you want to go. Probably won't break down. You'll be good for a while with it. That's what a console is. It's plug and play, no fuss, no muss. If you really want the big crazy graphics and that gets you hard, I appreciate that. I'm not mocking that. That's great. But fucking save your ducats and get a fucking high-end PC. It'll take you longer to save up for it, but if you can save up for a $500 box, you can save up for a $2,500 box. But this idea that it's like, oh, Microsoft is prioritizing S over X, which means we're going to go to Digital Foundry, and Digital Foundry is going to say, no, on the X, it doesn't run exactly as smoothly as it does on the PS5, you see, because the pixel rate buffer, fuck off. Fuck off. Xbox prioritizes Series S along with X to allow it to make more money, to allow it to be more profitable, to allow them, hopefully, to either make more games or buy more companies that can make them games. Sony does the same goddamn thing. No offense, but you guys have been sold a bill of goods by these fucking PR and marketing companies for consoles that the PC, again, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. Games are games are games. But the PC people are probably laughing at you. It's like these guys it's kind of like people sitting there having a fucking 4-star Michelin meal, and these people outside in the cold are arguing over who has better French fries, McDonald's or Burger King. It's like, bitch, I'm sitting in here eating the creme de la creme. What are you talking about? Anyway, Brian East, there's my answer to your question. Thank you for the super chat, Ahmed. Appreciate it. He says, this is Fallout 76 announcement at E3. The game came for months later at October. Okay, let me click it. Let me you can't put links. Let me see if I can copy that. Can any mod get that and put a link up if there's any mods right now? I would appreciate that. That'll be easier for me. I appreciate that. I do. I drive an old Corolla. That's what I drive. Absolutely. Matt says, so you're saying developing for Series S won't hold back gaming companies in terms of tech and graphics? It absolutely will. It absolutely will hold it back. 100%. It won't hold it back at 100% level, but the fact that you wrote is correct. It will 100% hold it back. And it seems like what Microsoft is saying is, this is like PCs. We got to make our games to run on a bunch of different things. And if you have the X, you can flip some switches and get a better performance. But we're not going to put everything into one box. Because we're making money off both of them. And we're letting people play these games who wouldn't otherwise be able to play them. What's the problem? Well, if you can't send me a link, just tell me what to Google or what to put into the YouTube search bar. Yes, 100% Dream Corridor. He says, I guess Sony's first-party PS5 games are going to be the top-tier visuals this generation. I think that stands to reason. I don't know that for a fact, but I think if you have a company that forces you to build on the S and the X, and the team that's building that game doesn't have a skeleton crew that goes off and focuses on the S so the X guys can just ignore it all, then I think you're absolutely right. You're going to see a more frequent graphical quality drop because it doesn't mean their games will look better or worse, but you will absolutely be able to point to this is exactly the cost that came when they put it on both of them. Yes, absolutely. And again, you have a console. It's not a rocket ship. Anybody expecting top tier visuals should be playing on PC. But yes, you're absolutely right. Sony at a console level will probably have the best looking games, as they usually do. Jaffe, I'm having a good day. I'm glad. Let's finish this day on a good note. What are we happy about? You guys don't understand. Let me address this. This is fun for me. Anybody who's like, Jaffe's mad. I'm not mad. I'm passionate. I love debate. We've talked about this before. There's not much Jew in me, but it's the Jew in me. I've said this before. I'll say it again because I love this part, and I'm not a religious person at all. I'm atheist. I'm agnostic. But I loved being raised as a Jew, even though I never practiced from 7 years old and on. I thought it was dumb. But what I loved about it was debating and discussion and argument was not looked at as disrespectful. And it was so amazing. You would go to your friends' houses who were Christian, and they would come to your house, and we would sit at the dinner table and we would be debating whatever. Me and my brother would get into it over politics, or we debate God or whatever. And that was fun for us. That was entertainment for us, right? But the Christian kids, and I'm not saying all Christians are like this and all Jews are like this, but I do think there is a cultural difference between what is expected of someone in America being raised as Christian versus a Jew based on the traditions of their religions. And so what I will tell you, Da Vinci's Demons, I'm happy about this conversation. I think it's a fun conversation to have. I like talking about things I'm excited about. But what else are we happy about? I'm happy about the show Wednesday. I'm happy about playing the raid for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, maybe even tonight. I'm happy that my sleep apnea test is coming up in a couple of weeks, and everybody who has had one that has had sleep apnea says that it has really changed their lives, getting that nice long amount of sleep. And finally, and most importantly, I'm happy about this. The Day One Patch Kids coloring book just arrived in the mail today. You can have one too. Go to the link tree below. You see it down there on the left. We got the leaders telling us they got a great podcast over there. And then it scrolls over to Day One Patch Kids. Day One Patch Kids has a lot of cool shit over there right now. Garbage Pail Kids meets video games. This coloring book is their newest product. If you got a kid in your life who loves gross, disgusting, but funny as fuck video game references, pick up the Day One Patch Kids coloring book. Boom, baby. What am I? Here's what else I'm happy about. I can pivot like a motherfucker. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, Union Gamer says the CPAP machine changed my life. I hear that all the time. All the fucking time. Okay. Have you met a Republican atheist? Hello, Master Luke. I don't know. Mr. K says, I went to an Orthodox school for 8 years. All you do there is learn to debate and argue while you study Jewish law texts. That's partly why so many Jews are lawyers. Yeah. In my experience, it's not an insult to debate. It's not mean to debate. It's fun. It's exciting. All right. And no, not all Republicans are Christians. Of course not. Let's move on though. I'll bring up, so you want to show me some Todd Howard proof down the road. I will be happy to take a look at it. 1 second. Okay. We'll talk about that later. Let's talk about some leaks. Justin Humphrey, am I going to play Atomic Heart? Probably. He sent a link. Oh, okay. Mr. K just sent one. Let's check it out. Here we go. Let me put it up on. That just linked to YouTube. Hang on. Copy link address. Yeah, I don't see it. It just opens up YouTube. I'll look, if you send it, I'll look at it. I'm busy. I'm doing a show. I'll look at it later. But yeah, again, I don't hate Todd Howard. I'm not on the bandwagon. I'm not part of your club. I don't care if the man has said things in the past that you think are lies. I think him and his team are swinging for the fences. If you don't like his games, don't buy them. If you like his games, but you don't like the fact that they're buggy when they launch, wait until later. You're not going to convince me to not support a team that swings for the fences. Press asks questions they can't answer. They kind of have to. I don't understand. I don't think I'll play The Witcher 3. I will try, but I've tried before and I didn't like it. Let's talk about this rumor. There's 2 rumors going around about 2 highly anticipated titles. One's good news for some people. One, if this is true, and I don't know if it is, take it with a grain of salt. This is from a friend of the show, Gaz, over on friend of the show, Colt Eastwood's channel. Let me play for you what they said, talking about Fable and the current state of their video game. This is from last night.
Pressure, all of that. But I have a source that tells me, my own source, source, that tells me that Fable had to be scaled down because the team had trouble with the engine and
with Forza Tech?
Build on Forza Tech. They tried to build a game on Forza Tech, and the gameplay mechanics. I'll bring the WhatsApp chat actually, but the gameplay mechanics were eluding them. They couldn't retrofit into the engine.
Uh-oh.
again, yeah, I don't know who the source is, and I don't know how accurate this is. But let's just say this. Would you be surprised if this was not, would you be surprised if it turned out this was true? Because, I mean, I saw at PAX Matt Booty on stage. I played it on the show a while back. And he was like, oh, I want to show Fable. It looks so good. And the team's like, no, it's not ready. It's not ready. So I don't know where it sits, and you don't know where it sits. But nobody in the chat, looking at the chat right now, would be surprised. Because this is what they do. They manage shit into the ground. The fact that, I mean, if you went to Sony, if you went back when I was working there to Shuhei and said, we want to make an RPG, and it was the team that had made, you give the Gran Turismo team whatever they want, of course. But if it was the team that made like, let's say Days Gone. It's not old news. You didn't hear it months ago, Bryson. What you heard months ago was Matt Booty saying the game was looking great, and we know that it's been built with the Forza engine. What's news is it's being scaled down because, and it's not even news, the rumor is because the engine doesn't really fit the mechanics. So the idea that she would have been like, you can't make that game with that engine. What are you doing? Maybe Microsoft just didn't know any fucking better. Maybe Microsoft was just like, these guys are great. Forza looks fantastic. You can't hear me. What do you mean you can't hear me? Go ahead and make an RPG. It's bullshit. And people in the chat saying, well, why would you want Microsoft to get, I'm not muted. How am I? I'm not muted. I swear to God. Why would you want Microsoft to get control of Activision, Call of Duty? Well, because I'd like to think that they know, could be wishing for a lot. I'd like to think that these guys know enough now to keep their fucking fingers out of the fucking pie of these studios that already know how to ship games, because I can't figure it. I can't figure it out. It's ridiculous to me. I've complained about this forever. Rambling, thank you for the super chat, buddy. He says, Halo Infinite's current updates have been amazing. You should try the multiplayer. Forge is great. Let me go back to that. Forge is great. What do you think about the FTC not meeting with Microsoft? Okay, so a couple of things. Halo Infinite's, I've played every update, and I have played Forge. I have not played Forge with people I know, because you have to have personal games. They don't roll into the rotation. So I've only just run around the maps, and they have been very cool, and I'm looking forward to playing it. But yes, I have loved Halo Infinite. It was my number 2 game of whatever it was last year, whenever, since it shipped. My complaint is not that it's not a great game. It's that I need more content. Now, with Forge, hopefully, I guess the community's doing their job for them, but you'd like to think that the fucking professional developers at 343 could be putting that shit out more often. But regardless, though, no, I'm not knocking the game. I'm knocking let me tell you this. I talked to, and this is not the same kind of game. I talked to a mobile developer yesterday. I'm going to have them on the show. They were a fascinating group of people to talk to about the kind of game they make. It's a very specific kind of mobile game. And they said to me, and this, I'm not giving away anything, but I said, how often do you drop new content? And for mobile, they're like, every 3 to 4 weeks. Right now, I get you can't really do that with a game like Halo. It takes a lot longer to do those sorts of things. But there's a big gap between 3 to 4 weeks and over a year between putting out something meaningful like this last winter update. So they're going to have to, they got a lot of faith to earn back with me, frankly. Hey, okay, so what do you think about the FTC not meeting with Microsoft? So we will be talking about that in just a second after the break. I hope you'll stick around. But that piece of news that the FTC, my understanding is the next step is they're going to all go in front of an FTC judge to deal with the FTC complaint. Are you saying that the FTC was offered a meeting with Microsoft and they said we don't want it? Because I'm not saying that's wrong, but I haven't heard that. Jason WB says, I'm concerned about Starfield and being able to land on thousands of planets, which will probably feel empty and void of content instead of crafting 8 to 12 finely detailed worlds full of content. Sure, I'm concerned too. I'm absolutely concerned too. Maybe it'll be terrible. But these are not idiots. I don't think they're sitting around going, let's just let people land on a planet, and you know what'll be fun? Fighting the same monster over and over and over with a different color, where the cave that you fight him in is just slightly different every time you go through a cave. I mean, that's the worst case scenario. These guys are not morons, but you never know. You never know. Okay. We got a super chat or a chat coming in from Twisted Sith, been a member for 9 months. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. He says, you mentioned earlier, tried to Google, no luck, have source for more energy output than input. Are you asking, do I have a source for that story? I do, and I will put that link right now. This is the National Geographic one. You may have to be a member. It's free just to sign up to read their shit, but just Google Fusion Breakthru and click in news, and it'll come up for you. Okay. Turn 10 make the Forza engine. They remade it for the new Forza and wanted to use it for Fable. It's not on Turn 10. He says, so it's on Turn 10. It is on management saying that's acceptable. You can do that. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Okay. I miss Papa Wheathead Santa since he shaved the beard. He's coming back. He's never out of your dreams for very long, sir. Okay. Let's move forward. Shall we? How do you become a member, Union? You become a member if you're watching on your phone, certainly on iOS. I don't know about Android. You have to actually open YouTube in your browser because Microsoft takes 30% and Google doesn't want to give them 30%. If you're on a desktop, you can do it right there. But if you want to do it on your phone, you have to do it in the browser of your, don't open the app of your browser. Go to your browser and then type youtube.com. It's a pain in the ass. Have you heard about the rumor Sony's working on a PlayStation All-Star 2? I've talked about it with people. I didn't know it was a rumor. So I don't know. It's Apple that wants the money. No, I know. Did I say Google? No, I mean, yes, Apple wants their 30%. Right. Hello, Calpy. I'm doing good. How are you? Okay. So listen, we'll get to that. I want to let you know something real quick. Just if you're shopping for holiday gifts for you or yourself and you love PlayStation 5, like I do, by the way, I'm just not a fucking, cult member. There's some amazing deals happening right now. Most of them are at Best Buy. I just want to turn you on to these if you're curious. Death Stranding, you can get at Best Buy for $20. Director's Cut, it's usually $50. Demon's Souls, brilliant game. One of the best launch titles of all time. Best Buy will sell it to you $40 off for $30. Destruction All-Stars is not worth your time. It is incredibly well made. It is incredibly well executed, and it's fun for about 20 minutes a day for the first week, and then you just can't really go back. So, but you can get that. It's usually $20. Now it's $10. I think it went free to play, didn't it already? Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut's $30. Yes, I know. There are free games on PS Plus Essential. I know. But if you don't have PS Plus Essential, then maybe this would interest you. Gran Turismo 7, which is not, I don't think, is the new one 7? Usually $70. Now it's $40. That's at Best Buy and Walmart. Forbidden West Horizon is $40, usually $70, Best Buy and Walmart. Last of Us Part 1, remaster, remake, whatever, $50, $20 off, usually $70. If you go to Best Buy or GameStop, it's $50. Last of Us Part 2 is only $10. And that's not, I don't think, on PS Plus Premium or whatever. That's Best Buy and Amazon. $10 for one of the best games the last 10 years. And one of the definite best games the last 5 years. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is brilliant. It is fucking brilliant. And if you do want to see, I forget who it was that brought it up, but the X and the S, you will absolutely see a better quality production value of a game if you're only focused on one piece of hardware. And Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart and Horizon Forbidden West, both of them are on sale. I did finish Ratchet & Clank, yes, and that might be the first game I ever get a platinum trophy for. You will be blown away. I have never seen a console game, maybe even a PC game yet. I have not. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, even with Horizon, is the best looking video game I have ever seen. And I'm playing it on a 1080p monitor. So, pick them up, babies. This is over on GameSpot if you didn't. Oh, and Returnal, fucking brilliant games, $30 as well. Best Buy and GameStop. Spider-Man Miles Morales is only $20. It's a steal. It's the best superhero game ever, maybe other than Marvel Snap. It's brilliant. And Uncharted Legacy of Thieves, $20. Come on now. All right, now listen. We're going to take a very small break, not a long break, small break. Like 5 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever. When we come back, we will talk about, this was brilliant. I was so glad they did this. GamesIndustry.biz went out to a couple of different attorneys, legal experts, asking them what they think will happen following the U.S. regulator FTC's lawsuit against the $69 billion acquisition deal that Microsoft wants to push through. Because it's just, I had some guy come at me on Twitter the other day or on comments on YouTube go, "Oh, Jaffe, you don't understand monopoly law." And I'm like, well, you don't either, you fuck. I didn't claim to be a lawyer. And I'm so all these people rambling. And I also want to talk about Colin Moriarty. Mr. K sent me a Sacred Symbols, which I subscribe to, but it's the free one. So you can see it yourself. The newest Sacred Symbols where Colin offered up why he thinks the deal with with Activision and Microsoft is a bad deal. I want to talk about that as well. So we'll get some lawyer takes on the deal. We'll get Colin Moriarty, who I think is one of the sharpest tacks in people talking about video games these days. We'll do that afterwards. But first, we're going to take a small break. And once that break is done, it'll say 10 minutes. I finally got it working. But, the other rumor is The Last of Us Part 3. There's a rumor that The Last of Us Part 3 is coming, and that it's going to basically be, the sequence is going to be that we're going to get factions first, and then after factions, we're going to get, Last of Us Part 3 is coming after factions. There might be an Uncharted from another, studio, but and I'm fascinated by that because I don't think Last of Us Part 2 did as well as they anticipated. So, and I loved it, by the way. I love Last of Us Part 2. So I am very excited to see, are they making changes to address some of the reasons people didn't like the last one? But I thought it was fantastic though. So anyway, that's coming up after the break. The break will be quick. If you are a member, stick around. It's for you. If you're not a member, stick around. If you're watching live, you can watch it too. I'm going to switch over to members only chat. If you're watching after the fact, consider a membership because you'll be able to watch all the episodes. You'll be able to come to movie night. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, we got movie night coming up this Saturday. Pot and Popcorn with Christmas, Bloody Christmas, and some other movie. It's not going to be Barbarian. If you're a great Call of Duty player, hit me up because we're doing the Last Stand Media, competing with Gabbin+Games coming up this Monday at 6. That's for members only as well. So there's a lot there for you. Consider subscription. Consider liking it, telling your friends, turning on notifications, whatever it is that you like to do if you think the show is deserving. But in the meantime, we're going to take a small break. Here we go.